Our latest 10.2 version, it's coming with nice features actually. Engin Can wrote a blog post. The blog post address is on the bottom, but I will try to summarize the most important ones. Shared user accounts. Actually, it's one of the first feature which we get from the community to be implemented, because many people try to use the same user between different tenants. Actually, it's against multi-tenancy regulations, because multi-tenancy is a little bit isolated environment. But in practical world, things are not going like this, and many times you need to use, like, you have multiple branches. Imagine you are McDonald's, you have multiple branches in different places of the world, even in different cities, districts. You may separate them with like country based, and later you may give permission to your manager, worldwide manager, different tenants in your McDonald's branches. And now it's practical and usable with ABP 10.2. You can share user. Another security feature, preventing privilege escalations, because previously, like admin guys or who have some permissions under roles to set different permissions, they can manipulate the system. If they have a bad plan, they can do this. But we prevented this privilege escalation hacking vector. With 10.2, it will be fixed. Client resource permission value provider. If you are interested in our authentication provider OpenID Dict, we added this feature to this module. Allows you to control OAuth clients, so you can give fine-grained authorizations for your API consumers. There are some more Angular features which is coming with 10.2. Hybrid localization support. Before, we only support server-side localization, which means when your Angular client starts up, it makes a request to the server side, gets the complete localization, which needs to run all the UI, and run like this. We changed this to hybrid localization, and now the Angular client can also have localization inside, embedded, without asking server. Even it may not make communication with the server. It can show some user-friendly UI, offline mode. It will be usable. Extensible table row detail. It's for parent-child relationship. You can collapse details of one row. It's also being used in many CRUD pages. Also, CMS Kit. People ask me very much about why CMS Kit is not implemented in Angular. Now it's implemented. It's fully usable with blogs, posts, comments, menus, pages. You can create pages on the fly without compiling your project. So Angular users are happy for this feature, I think. We have upgraded our Blazor components framework, Blazorize, to 2.0, the new version. Password reset mechanism, email confirmation, and changing email flows changed a little bit with the updated security regulations. We added a resource-based authorization for file management, so any file can be can give granted permission for user role client. And new feature, AI management, MCP support, RAC with file upload. You can upload your PDF and ask questions based on these PDFs. It's coming out of the box, and we will also explain this feature now after me. OpenAI-compatible chat points. And I will quickly make a revision, which we get from community articles. Shared user account, it's our feature. Limingma explained how it works. These are all in community ABP.io, ABP.io/community. You can enter this website and see all these articles. At the same time, I added QR codes for each article. Engin wrote an article about one endpoint and many AI clients. So you can manage your workspaces, different AI providers in your ABP project. You can use OpenAI or DeepSeek or any other AI provider, LLM. And ABP allows you to switch between them easily. You just need to add configuration. Secure client authentication, it's a little bit framework level feature. Automatically validate your documentation, it's also new and interesting project. Mansur implemented this project. This project is validating your tutorial, any tutorial. Like imagine you have a software and you have a tutorial how it runs. This AI supported, AI assisted project is reading your guide, tutorial, article, whatever. You need to have steps inside this article. It's reading and trying to implement what is written there in your project. That's why you can validate your guide. Also, you can test your application with this validator. We created this for our own requirements because ABP has many guides like Microsoft guides, and we need an automatic way for every night checking our documents, guides, which is it aligned with our project. So we created this for our own requirement and we made it open source. Right now you can use on your project as well. It's .NET, written in .NET, open source. You can send PRs for improvements. So thanks to Mansur for this.
Also, this is very really promising project. So you mentioned about we checking and validating, but it's not checking like only in text. It's not checking just regular LLM. It just applies it, right? By using
Yeah.
agents, it creates a
Yes,
project and
actually, it's creating a container, runs all the requirement, all the pre-requirements, like installing .NET SDK, installing PostgreSQL, whatever it needs to validate your project. It's running, applying. Later, it's sending notification as an email, or it's sending notification to your Discord server. So you will be notified if it's not running. I can show this project just, or maybe I will show later. I don't want to take your time. I will show in the end if we have time. This is also a new feature, rate limiting. We all know ASP.NET Core has a rate limiting feature, but we made it very practical to use because ASP.NET Core's rate limiting function is unopinionated. We a little bit changed and made it easy to use in your web application so that you can fine tune the rules by endpoints or IP based or some headers. You can change it with a configuration, and you can protect your website against DDoS attacks. And it's coming out of the box with ABP. Sumeyya wrote an article about how to automate localhost access for Expo. Who knows Expo? This is a mobile application development framework, and it's nicely running your mobile application on your browser, also sending to your mobile phone. Resource-based authorization in ABP framework. It's also a new feature. Livingma wrote an article about this. Dynamic background jobs and workers in ABP, also need a good article. Dynamic events in ABP. And lastly, I have a surprise for you. This is my big surprise for today, because now we have created an code generation, AI code assistant tool in ABP Studio. Basically, it's similar to your Cursor, Anti-Gravity, Windsurf, whatever AI-assisted code generation tool is. It's the similar one, but it's specially, how can I say, trained for ABP, and it understands your project very well. No need to write, this is an ABP project, here are your localizations, this is your connection string place. This AI assistant knows your ABP project best and generating tool just like the popular AI code generation tools. Now it's under internal tests, and actually this is real screenshot from our project. In the screenshot, you can see we wrote a prompt about create me a hotel management platform like feature in my ABP application, and it's making analyze, later making plan, asking you if there is blurry points, if there is flu points. It's asking you, do you mean like this? Do you want to do like this? Do you want to open a dialogue, or you want to make a full page for showing details like these? Not clear things, it's asking you as well. And you can also choose LLM models, or you can change mode to agent or ask questions. And here, this is the final screen, which we make with one shot prompt.
One prompt generation, right?
Yes. We wrote, make me a hotel management application with books, hotels, everything, and create me cards, not tables, data grids. It really did. It really did what it promises. So I think you will like it very much. And with this feature, ABP is also catching the cutting edge technology right now. I hope in the next version, it will be live for your usage. Nowadays, we are testing this internally in our test environments. So we want to be sure everything is working nicely. That's why we will open the curtain in the next version. It's all from my side. So thank you for listening to me. I will give my words to Engin, and he has some nice demo for you.
Thank you, Alper. I hope my voice is clear right now. Okay. Today I will talk about the new features, especially this new one, the MCP servers and OpenAI-compatible endpoints exposure, along with the AI management module, and then Enes will make you. It will show you a showcase about the retrieval augmented generation, the RAG support with the AI management module. First, I will start with what the module context protocol is. I will briefly explain you that. Then we will see the architecture briefly, and then the important point for us is that where does AI management module fits with all of these module context protocol stuff. And then also I will show you OpenAI compatible endpoint exposure, and also we will make some demos to showcase the features that came with the version 10.2. You probably know what the model context protocol is, but basically it's a standardized protocol that allows you to give power to your large language models to get data from an external resource, from an external tool. It can be database, development tool, productivity tool. It can be your files and so on. It gives the related tools to get data from an external resource. This is the main principle behind the model context protocol. And when we look at the architecture, we have three main components. We have MCP host, which can be your large language model, and AI tool like Claude, Cursor, or it can be your application. And also we have MCP service, which makes the all orchestration. Actually, it gets the it connects to the related external tool, get related resource back with the JSON or RPC type. And we also have MCP client, which connect to the MCP server and get the related value from the external server and response. And this is the general perspective, the general architecture of the model context protocol. And when we look at the AI management module, actually it's hosted in your application, and it allows you to generate the related MCP clients in your own application and allow you to use any MCP server and connect with any external tool. So AI management give you a GUI, and in your application UI, you can create the MCP client, define related authorization options, define the headers, and so on, and connect to MCP server. And your AI chat client will clever enough to understand whenever it needs to connect to a tool, and then it will get the related result for you as an enhanced result as a response. And if we look at how it works part, that, as I've said, AI management module actually kicks in on the MCP client side. So the only thing you need to do is create a new MCP client, which is the connection point with the related MCP server, like defining which HTTP endpoint that you need to use, or you can use a Studio to use some npm tool to connect with the external tools. After you create it, you can test the connection, list all related tools, and ensure it is healthy. After you create it, the only other thing that you need to do is the connect it with a workspace. This will give you the related chat client capabilities. So you will ask your question, and it will decide whenever to connect with the related tool, and will get the enhanced result to you. And the other part is, of course, using it in your application. AI management already provide you a chat playground, so you can already try it out within the module. Or if you want to use it, you can use the related components that we provide for MVC, Blazor, and Angular UI for now. And it's really easy to use. And I guess Ines will show you today how you can put MVC's own component into your page. So we will also see it for today. And also we documented everything that came with 10.2, including MCP servers, RAG, and OpenAI-compatible endpoints in the documentation. So if you have any uncertain point, you can check it out, the related documentation. So let's back to our demo application. I created an application for you. This is a basic MVC application, and I just integrated the AI management modules. And actually, when you create your applications through ABP Studio, there's an AI integration tab, and you can directly add the AI management module into your solution without needing to make any configuration. Also, Ines will show you that in the demo site. But let's now continue with the complete application. When you enable the AI management module, you will have workspaces and MCP servers as the menu items in here. Workspaces is the a wrapper beyond the chat client, which give you management stuff that you define your LLM settings like AI providers, API-based URL, model name, and API key. And also, if you use RAG, then you can also define your embedder and vector store options in here as well. And after you created your workspace, you have the full option to manage it from the single point. So, for example, I can start with an OpenAI. Then if I add the Ollama provider, I can switch it to Ollama and use Llama 3.2 as the model, for example. So this gives us the all related management from a single site. And also we have different options, like you can manage the data sources that you uploaded with the RAG. You can even define resource permissions for related user, role, and client. And this basically give the this will grant permission for the related user role or client to use the chat playground. So we have a complete system for you, and we can even define the MCP servers in here. But before defining an MCP server, I want to show you the MCP servers page view as well. When you create a new application, we came with pre-built MCP servers for you, so you can easily add them to your workspace. We have Google Calendar, Gmail, GitHub Local, and GitHub Remote MCP servers for you. And if we, for example, check for the MS Learn, which is the microservice Learn documentation MCP server, you can see that it is plainly easy MCP server configuration, and we define the transport type as HTTP. So basically, for connecting to an MCP server, we have two main ways. We can either go with the standard input and output, also known as Studio, or we can connect with the MCP server via HTTP protocols. And on the HTTP, we have server sent events, which is outdated for now. And also we have streamable option. And after defining the transport type, the only thing we need to do is to read the MCP service documentation, find the related endpoint URL, and define it in here. And if an authentication is required, you can define any authentication type you want in here. API key, bearer token, and customer header is the most common ones. And then you can just need to save it and connect with your workspace. The Microsoft Learn MCP server is an authenticated MCP server, so we don't even need to define authentication type. And after you created it and make the related configurations, if you want to check that if the MCP server connection is successful or not, you can always click the available tools option in here, and then it will connect the MCP server, and it will list all available tools for you. You can even see its parameters and the description for the related tool. After you define that, you need to just go back to your workspace and connect that. I will also show you that, but before that, also let me show you the Studio transport type as well. For example, in my second page, I have a file system, and if I come at this one and check the configuration, as you can see, I defined it as a Studio, so I can use an npm package like this one with the npx command and define the related package, and then you can create. And then I can create related MCP server, and when I check the available tools, it will download related npm package, and also it will list the related available tools. So you can use
people will how they will understand if it's STDI or something like different thing. Maybe it's written.
Yeah, actually, this information is generally written in the related GitHub repository. And it change their needs in the system. If they are going to use it in a real system, they probably need to use HTTP. For example,
it is simple, by the way. If you see a link, so this is remote MCP, so you need to use HTTP. But if it shows you as a process like MPX or I don't know, maybe UV, so it is process that working on your machine. So it is, I think, understandable. If it is a link, so it is remote.
Yeah, maybe we can check the Git local and Git remote to understand it better. The GitHub MCP server actually provides either the related Git package in here with an npm package. You can also use that. But if you need to connect your GitHub repositories, there is a GitHub remote tool with the HTTP link like here. So all of this information generally is already available on the related repositories or pages README file. And then the only thing you need to do is to define the related settings in here.
Normally, so we allow developers different ways of using different standards.
Yes.
We are compatible with everything.
Yes, that's right. And also, as I said, this all 11 of them is pre-built for them. So, for example, if they want to use the GitHub's MCP server, they don't need to even define that. This will become as pre-built, and they just need to get a GitHub personal access token and put it in here, as an HTTP header, or if they don't want to put it as HTTP header like this one, they can come back in here, define the mirror token, and also provide the API key here.
So we already answered Bruno's question.
Yes.
What about MCP servers, which requires OAuth?
Yeah.
I think he asks OAuth. So I don't know if it covers OAuth, but after OAuth login, so you will get eventually a token, so you can use your token in here.
Yeah, sure. If it requires a custom header, then you can also define it in here. If the related MCP server uses a different way of, header-based authentication, you can also do it in here. We covered the full configuration for the MCP server, actually. Yes,
Okay.
API key. Yeah, that's right.
I got it. If your MCP server requires a custom authentication like API key, etc., so you can pass custom headers. That's nice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can extend the system. You can for example, some MCP servers require multiple headers. You can also define it in here. We also accept JSON, and you can directly copy paste it into your configuration, and it will work out like that. Okay, after you create the MCP server or configure the pre-built ones, then you can go back to your workspaces and add it to connect it with the related workspace. You can do it in two ways. You can either click the MCP server section menu in here and click that MCP server and add any MCP server to your workspace. And the second thing that we have a playground that allow you to check the related chat clients. So you can ask the question to the related chat section and get the answer. And you can do it through either the go to playgrounds, or you can directly click the related workspace's name. So when you click that, you will see the MCP servers right here. And also, if you uploaded any file, it is also will show you that, then you will be able to manage your files from here. So I will add the MCP server from here. As you can see, there is no MCP server for now. And I want to add the Microsoft Learn as an example. I can either double click for a shortcut, or I can click the connect in here. By the way, you can define multiple MCP servers, and if you want to enable one of them, you can disable it for a certain time, or you can directly remove them from this module.
Engin, I want to interrupt you for a little. Sure. Because I want people will understand what we are showing them. Not this one, Jack. Why we are adding an MCP server here, and what's the relationship with this MCP server usage and within our application? What is the main goal here adding this?
Okay, the first one is that if you are using some tools like Cursor, Cloud Code, or so on, you generally make this configuration just adding some JSON lines into a file. For example, if you are using Cursor, there is an mcp.json file, and you just need to go back and copy paste it from there. AI management gives you more freedom. You can define all your MCP servers from a single point and configure it and use it in multiple workspaces. So this means that.
Okay, I think he asks, what is relation between my application? So what it does to my application? Why should I?
After adding this configuration, what will happen?
Yeah, what will happen?
Okay, when you configure it, then if you ask a question related to the one of these tools, it will enhance the result. It will send a request to the related server and get a more polished answer for you. For example, if we don't use Microsoft Learn from here, and if we check for .NET Core's own authorization related question, it may get an outdated value. But if you use an MCP server, then it will get the most relevant and the latest new for you. So, and also you will have the option to get it more version-based and so on. So MCP servers actually enhance your answers and broaden the response quality.
Okay, I can add something more. So
sure.
Maybe you missed our previous community talks about AI management. So each workspaces can be accessible in the C# code. So you can use this configured workspace in the C# code. So you can develop
Yes.
your own logic, on business logic, on top of this chat client, on top of this workspace. You can directly consume this workspace, and all the configurations will be automatically used when you call that method in C#. So
That's the missing
another
Lego part here.
Yeah.
Because all you do here, all you make this configuration, in the end, you have a workspace name, a programmable name, and in your application, you need to write code to align with this workspace. Your workspace is usable. Yes, it's connecting to different MCP servers. You can play with it here, but to make it usable for your case, for your application usage scenario, you need to write code on top of this workspace. We don't know what your application is doing. That's why we are implementing the feature until here. From this point, you need to connect this workspace with your final application. Engin will show you later how to do some coding.
Yes.
That's why this is only configuration part.
Yes, also it will be more clear when we look at the OpenAI relatable compatible endpoints part, because we will be using a different client and will connect to our workspace. So it will be more clear at that point. For now, let's check our chat playground. I added 2 MCP servers. One of them is enabled. This one is the Microsoft Learn, and the other one is file system, and I make it as disabled. And if I add a new chat in here, and I can ask any question here and get a response back, either in a string response, so I can see the word by word or character by character. And also we have usage details as a new enhancement on the playground. And also, since I have MCP server configured in here, I can, ask to listen to related configured MCP tools for this chat. List me the MCP tools configured in this chat. And as you can see, it's, connect to related Microsoft Learn tool and get related tools from here. So if, for example, I ask a question about .NET Core authorization system, it will use Microsoft_docs search tool, and it will get related authorization document as the response, or it will use it to response back to my question. So this is how you can add the MCP servers in here. You can define multiple for them in here, and you can enable, disable them, or delete them completely from the workspace. And also, we are currently using in the chat playground, but you can, as Enes said, like we talked with our previous community talk, you can use the iChat client of the Microsoft's extensions AI library and directly use it in your code with the workspace name, and this will give you the MCP server configured and related tools in your code as well. So it is not just specific to the playground. When you define the workspace, you can use it anywhere that you want in your system with the Microsoft's own AI infrastructure. So let's continue with the OpenAI-compatible endpoints as the second topic of today. Okay, that we can define MCP servers in the AI management module in our system. We can connect it with the workspaces. That's cool, and we have a playground and test it out in the system. But what if we need to use our workspace related endpoints in a different client, in a different application? And in that point, we come up with OpenAI compatible REST APIs under the version 1 path for you with this version. So this means that if you have, for example, a Python client, a Python application, you can connect to our workspace and use the related chat completion or file upload or any OpenAI formatted endpoints in your system. And for example, we will show you that you can use it in the analytic LLM, and I will briefly mention that. but it is not specific to a single tool. So OpenAI provides a format, a standard, and this allows you to use any kind of model that you want. You can use Gemini, you can use Claude models, and so on. It's a standard protocol with the endpoints. So if we check some of the endpoints, for example, we have chat computation endpoints like this one. We have model selection endpoints for related workspaces. We can get the, generate embeddings based on related text value. We can upload files, get the, file, the download link, and so on. So you can think of it like the all related and important endpoints that the, ChatGPT UI, the application provides you in a basic system. We will use it in our system, and we decided to give it a showcase with the Anything LLM tool. You may not heard of it. It's a really popular tool that allow you to, they aim to provide an all-in-one LLM support for you, which means that you will have a single application with everything that you need to do to configure. It will be in a single application. You will define your LLM provider, the vector database, embedder. You will define MCP servers. You can define agent skills, and everything that you can think that an large language model provides you to test it out in your own machine, on desktop and mobile application. This is what Anything LLM provides to you. And it's, for example, allow you to use DeepSeek, Gemini, or any other model, including the local ones like Llama models and so on, into your system and test it out in a single place. So it's a general management application. And let's see that how we can set up our workspace in the Anything LLM application and also use the related system in the Anything LLM application. So I've already, installed Anything LLM application, and it provides some options for us. We already seen that, but we have LLM providers, vector database configurations, and agent configuration if we want. Also, we have settings, like we can define agent skills and all customizations related to the application. The thing that we want to do is that we define all of our configurations. We made our AI management in the AI management module. We defined our system. Then we have the related workspace. We want to use it in multiple places without depending on the AI management module directly. And for that point, you just need to get an bearer token in your client, and then you can use it in any tool that you want. We will show it to you with Anything LLM, but you can use it in DiFi, or you can use it in Python or any other client. To get a bearer token, we can send a request to our applications connect token endpoint with the related username as admin with the password, and the grant type can be password. And after we send a request to get a token, it will
Engin, is this your Anything LLM web API, this local host 44337?
Yes, this is the application actually that we are using, and as you can see, it is an HTTP, not HTTPC, because sometimes .NET applications, because of its internal HTTP protocol, it may problems. So I also hosted the application on HTTP to enable it in our system. So
I think it is for untrusted certificate, because certificate is only installed only in this machine.
Yeah. Actually, this application also runs in HTTPC, but as Enis said, that it gives untrusted client application on localhost. So to try it out, I also host it on HTTP. And this is the reason why we need to send a request to do HTTP protocol with the connect token endpoint. And after actually we send a request, we get the access token in here. Then
So
only thing
this token is belong to your account, right? So not
just
the
admin user actually with the default credentials. I set the grant type as passport and define the username as admin and password as the default one that you use in your basic ABP application.
Okay, you just logged in as resource owner flow, and you get your own token. Okay.
Yes, we get the bearer token in here, and then in the Anything LLM application, we can create a new workspace in here. As you can see, the naming is similar with our current system. I can call it as test, and after that, we can configure our workspace in here. We need to go back to chat settings, and as you can see, Anything LLM provides multiple tools in here, the related LLM providers like OpenAI, Azur's own OpenAI, Anthropic's models, Gemini, and so on. We will choose generic OpenAI, which allow us to use the OpenAI-compatible endpoints from a different application for a different system, and so on. When you define it, you will also see that there is a setting option in here, and you can only need to define these 3 values mainly. We have base URL in here, which is the same as our application. So if we go back to our application, it is the same URL with the v1 path. So we just need to define it as the base URL. And for the API client, I've already copied the bearer token, and I can use it in here. And it also expects me to write the chat model name in here. And this is actually the workspace that you use in your AI management module. So it is also test in our case, and you can define the default values for context window and maximum token. And once you save the setting and update your workspace, you can create a new thread in here. You can upload a file or ask your question and get the response back. Actually, I'll create a prompt to try it out.
By the way, I will answer. You get this token from ABP application. I think it's the same token when you log in to your.
Yeah, the same one. Yeah, I'm using actually MVC UI for this example. So we are using cookie authentication. And this is the reason why I create the new OpenID client on the backend side and send a request to get a bearer token.
If it was an Angular application, he would be getting the same token.
Yeah, we will even be able to see it on the local storage. Yeah.
Okay, so who doesn't understand about what Engin is doing? He is trying to connect Anything LLM, which is not ABP stuff. It's a generic platform for managing your LLMs. He is connecting Anything LLM to ABP. So he will use different features here.
Yes, so this will give us an option to actually put our AI management module into any other tool with all capabilities that the module provides.
Yeah, as another topic, can I ask something more? If I remove the permission from that user, so that endpoint will not work, right? Because you get the one user's token. So I can just revoke the permission and the access is lost, right?
Actually, no, it will be still working because of the expiry time in here.
For this one,
will work.
For this one, you need to validate every time what's coming to your middleware. You need to validate the claims if still this claim is active.
Yes, so for this scenario, it will not work.
Extra work in a middleware.
Yeah, we have a session system, so it might work if you enable it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, we need to have.
I'm also not sure. Maybe it's being validated again.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, ABP does not carry the permissions in the token, so they are cached on the backend. So it will work, but with a delay because we have cache.
Yeah. Okay, we actually configure it right now. We just define the generic OpenAI, define our localhost endpoint. We specify it. We define the workspace name as the test, and just copy paste the related bearer token. Now we can test it out. I provide the prompt in here. What are the most popular .NET web application frameworks that support multi-tenancy, provide modular infrastructure, follow DDD best practices, and offer multiple database providers and UI options? So we already know the answer, but let's give it a try for the GPT 5.2 to get an answer for us. And the good point about anything LLM that once we get the related response back, we will be able to see that our workspace it is used while getting the related response. So,
what are the most popular .NET Web application frameworks that support multi-tenancy, etc.?
Yeah.
It's a little bit small, that's why I'm trying to read.
Sure, let me zoom it a little bit.
I hope it's not stuck.
Yeah. It's stuck. Let me check it in the playground to test it out. Okay. So I will be ensure that the access token and everything is right. Let me check it in here.
Coming.
Okay, in our playground it worked. I will also try it in our system back after that one. Also, the good part about our playground, it is good too that we see it in here. We have the stream response, so we can see the response immediately. This is the good part. I will try it in here again. Let me give it a try once again.
I think we get a response. There's no error, but I don't know why it cannot read it.
Sometimes anything LM actually does that, as far as I see. Let me try again. We should see the response for now. Or we can try it with another question.
By the way, we can get a question while you are doing
this time it returned related response. And the response is same. The model is the same, actually. It says the ABP framework, and also it says the legacy ASP.NET boilerplate application in here as the number one. And then we see other, frameworks as an option in here. And I want to actually focus on that part. As you can see, the Anything LLM also showed the details about the response. The test part in here is our workspace name. And you can also see the, how much time that it takes to get related value and the token per second to response time in here. And also, since we have MCP servers, we can also check that one as well. It can also, list in here. So it's not just listed in the playground, but also since we are using OpenAI standard, it will also list related MCP servers in here. So let me copy this one as well and test it out in our Anything LLM here. And as you can see, it's checked the related tools and get the Microsoft related MCP server tools in here. So whenever you define your AI management module, you have the workspace, and if you have the workspace, then you can use it in anywhere that you want, including a tool like Anything LLM, like this one, with the OpenAI-compatible endpoint exposure support.
So people will use this feature if they want to serve their application as an AI provider. So if any application, apart from their own application, wants to benefit from their application, consume your ABP application's data, if you are exposing your application as an AI provider, you can use this feature. We allow this in this way.
Yes, for example, if you have, a .NET application like this one, and if you make your management about the large language model providers and workspace management, MCP servers from a single place, then you can define it in our AI management module. And if you are using Python, for example, you can directly use this workspace and directly use it in your Python application without needing to defining it again. So AI management gives you a single point to manage everything from a single point. And since we are providing OpenAI standard, you can use it in any client, in a Python application, in a JavaScript application, in a tool like Anything LLM, DeFi, and so on. So this actually this feature allows you to use it in any other client when you define the related configuration in the AI management modules. So this extends the scenario. Yeah.
I will get questions while we are making this presentation because we will forget somehow what's the context. So you can ask questions audience can ask question right now, and I will come to the screen. So there are similar questions. I will show one of them. If users or tenants can be granted permission based on user and tenant for LLMs or MCPs. Also, Bruno is asking a similar question. Is this per user?
Yeah.
Who wants to
Yeah, we
answer?
have two levels. Maybe without before going further, we can answer one by one. We have two levels. Yes, you can give permission one by one per user or role. Engin is showing you. So this is resource-based permission feature. Yes, it's possible. But for cross-tenant permissions or tenant-specific limits, permissions, etc., we have a plan to do it. But each domain, each business application needs different kind of requirements. So we are struggling to build generic solution for all of you, but we will provide a good infrastructure. At least you can build your multi-tenant permission system. But for now, yeah, you can just give permission for a specific user or role, like Engin are currently showing you.
Is this all, Engin, or you will continue?
Actually, this is all from me, and as explained it well. We can define, we can give permission per user, role, and client for now, and it is really hard to provide it for tenant for now. Yeah.
Okay.
I can give speech to Enis if there is no further question.
Yes, we can switch to Enis. He
Sure.
has also a live demo.
Okay.
I will add Enis to the screen.
Okay.
Okay. Now you are seeing the ABP documentation about RAG. So I'll just directly.
First of all, someone is asking about this. I will show here, Faruk. Users can users use the chat feature and based on their data, not generic something. Now it's time to show Faruk about this topic.
Okay. Now I will explain how RAG is working in ABP framework, AI management module. Instead of going too much technical things, so let's go with a scenario. I will build a scenario with you, and I will introduce a problem, and I will solve you together. But before we going on, how you can install, I will mention it. In the new version, it is not released yet, but it will be released really soon. So while you're creating any project, let me create. In the AI management layer, we have a new feature. So let's say you picked a UI framework, a database provider. It doesn't matter what you pick. You pick a database. You can choose whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If you choose MySQL or SQL Server, doesn't matter. You can choose it. And whenever you come to AI management step, now we have two different column here. One for RAG options, one for AI providers. So this is exactly same in the previous version. It will add these providers to your application, but in the right section, you can add PG vector or Qdrant container and dependency to your application. So PG vector is basically a PostgreSQL, but PG vector extension is installed. So it can store vectors, not only store, it can query vectors really fast. Optimized way, let's say, because Qdrant is much faster, but the speed is not topic right now. But this is just another dependency. It doesn't matter what you pick in the database provider. You can just still use MongoDB as your main database or SQL Server. Doesn't matter. You will need another PostgreSQL with PG vector support to run this option. So this is separate than your main database selection. So as a new feature in the next version, in the new version, so whenever you pick an Ollama or PG vector or whatever you choose, you will see a container support in ABP Studio. So let me create and see. Previously, you'll need to install Ollama on yourself. You need to install PG vector or whatever you use. You need to handle it on yourself. But right now,
do we need to add this feature? Do they need to create the latest version, or it can be added to the current version?
I will show how you can install your existing applications, but for a first starter, for a first comer, so you can just create a new project with everything is configured. And I will show what you need to do for your existing applications after this part.
Okay, because Kill Ghost World will not listen to us if it's not adding to his application.
I will show. I will show. You'll need to add a couple of packages.
Okay, don't go anywhere.
You can see containers right now, and you can see Ollama, PG Vector, and Qdrant because I chose them. I chose them. So this is a new. All the containers are ready to use for you. So in this new version. But what happens for existing users like you already asked? I will go back to documentation. Installing. Sorry. Okay. First, you need to switch the documentation to 10.2. Then I will show how you can install. Let's say PG Vector. So this is installation step, by the way. This is at the top. You can see this is how to install, and it shows installing AI management module from scratch. But since you need to add extra dependencies, which is RAG dependencies. These are new. Of course, you need to add one of LLM provider like OpenAI or Ollama. If you have them, that's okay. As a next step, you need to pick vector storage. So yeah, we have MongoDB and we don't have in the wizard because in our tests, MongoDB is not stable enough and the searches are not performant enough PG Vector or Qdrant. But if you wish, you can just directly use MongoDB to store your vector. So you need to add one of these packages to your application, and that's it. The ABP add package command will install the package and adds depends on attribute. So everything will work. Whenever you run your application, you will see a vector storage option in your dropdown. So that's what you need to do. Pick one of them and install it. So that's it. But for this container support, we don't have like pre-built adding container. So you need to find a good container and run in your Docker, or just install PG Vector to your machine. For this container, we don't have adding support, but it's up to you. So that's it. This is also in the live. This is preview version. You can visit now documentation and see what you need to do.
By the way, the stable version will come next week. We are testing the final stage. We already created 3 RC versions. Latest version, stable version, will come. Like what you see here, the stable one will come to next week.
Yeah, you can try in RC, by the way, by switching to RC version. But yeah, in the stable version, you will be able to access it. Now I will close it, and I already created a project for you, and it is running. So instead of waiting, I will use this running project. Okay, let's open it in the ABP Studio. I'll try to make it bigger. Yeah, I already logged in for you. So let's start with a scenario. So my scenario is, let's say I'm selling or giving support about a product, a real electronic product. So this is, where is it? This is my guide. This is my manual for my physical device. So this is my product, let's say, and I want to give support on this product. So I will introduce you a real use case scenario. So let's start with our application. Maybe that will be much better if I open my project in this tab. Yeah. I need to log in once more. Now in the AI management menu, I will navigate to workspaces. Since they are pre-configured, so let me show again before going on. So this provider is configured for you because I picked everything in the startup, in the project creation. My API key is also configured. And in the embedder section, I will use OpenAI and the small text embedding model. This is enough for most of cases. And the vector storage, I will use PG Vector. So all of them are configured. I haven't written anything in this model. But if you create a new one, let's say you are existing user and added this support to your application, you need to configure your embedder and vector storage, whatever you use, and you are ready to go. but this is already configured, and I will use this OpenAI assistant. So if I ask, so let's create a new chat, and I will ask something.
So I will little bit explain what is, maybe people don't know about what is embedding, what is a vector database, who are not familiar with this terminology. If you want to make, if you want to ask questions based on some text, your documentation, your user guide, anything, first of all, you need to embed this text to AI-friendly vectoral measurements, because each words, each text there is translating to a number-based, some token-based vectoral symbol, and each these texts are close to each other or far to each other with some algorithm. He is first creating an embedder. Each embedder algorithm is different calculations. They are using different calculations, and we store this embedded data into our vectoral database. So we need a vectoral database. We cannot use our Microsoft SQL server or our plain plain PostgreSQL database. We need to use special plugin for searching in our vectoral tables. So
Yes,
we
storing is not
passing
problem.
these stages quickly, but some of maybe you don't know about these terminology. That's why a little bit interrupting, Enis.
Okay, that's okay. I will try to explain step by step, but yeah, in the technical way, you are right. Thank you.
But when
for
you
this.
want to implement such thing, you will deal all these much more than he is showing.
Okay, now let's assume I ask what is the minimum charge requirement for firmware update, because in my manual, it should be at least 15% battery is required for firmware update, but I haven't configured anything. I'm just asking to assistant. So I will enhance this answer step by step. So I assume it will answer me a generic. Okay, because I haven't uploaded any documentation, so it cannot find anything. So if I ask something, it will try to answer with generic responses like 50%, etc. Let's make it better. Let's open the options and add a system prompt and say you are a robot vacuum mop technical support assistant, and always, okay, remove this documentation. When a question asked about the robot vacuum mop product, answer and solve the problem. So I assume the LLM know what is this product, but most of times it cannot know, or some of models cannot know the even generic products because of the training data. So I assume this LLM GPT 5.4 knows about this product. I added this system prompt and ask again. Okay, it says, you can see, maybe I can make it bigger. Okay, it doesn't help.
I will make
It
full
says,
screen. Like,
yeah, it says 50% requires, but it is not, because my product requires some different. So this is problem, and I can solve it by enhancing my system prompt. I came back system prompt and I can say there should be at least 15% of battery required for firmware update. I can write all the rules here. Yeah, that will work. That will exactly work, and that will help people properly. But if I go back to my manual, you can see there are different kind of different amount of pages, and there's a huge data. If I copy all of them and paste my system prompt, it will fill my context window. Maybe it overflows it.
it will
So this is not
hallucinate.
solution.
Yes.
It's not necessary to be readable because this is huge manual. So I cannot paste all of them into system prompt. So it is not practical. Even if it works, it is waste of tokens. So what can we do in this point? So in this point, we will use RAG, which Alper explained very well in a technical way. In the RAG, I will upload my documentations or files into my AI management module, and AI management module will separate each of part into different chunks, into different parts. So let's say each title will be separated into different chunks. You can think about like that. And we have some overlappings, etc. But these are technical topics. We will handle it for you. And these separated chunks will be calculated in multi-dimensional array. So according to relation between them. So according to our embedder configuration, embedder model. So this embedded model will calculate these multi-dimension vectors for our text in a basic way. So this text, this vector, has to be stored in a vector database because of Alper already mentioned. We need to search it. We need to query it. If I have one single array or a couple of array, it is not a problem. But if I have huge amount of data, so I will need a vector database for performance. Because other way, I need to check all the array one by one, and it will cost a lot of time. So vector databases are optimized for this kind of querying. So that's why we configured our embedder. So embedder calculates all the dimensions in the vector, and we store that dimensions in the vector database. So that's the point. So that's why we need to configure embedder and vector store at the same time. These are already configured, and I know they are working. So let's go to manage data sources and upload our first file. So I will bring my file. Where is it?
Engin is uploading vacuum cleaner guide. You can upload your frequently asked questions, documentation, or if it's a hospital management platform, you can upload your working times, like location of this hospital, anything that your users might be interested in. You can make a single file and upload.
Yeah. Now it will embed it. It will separate it into different chunks, and it will embed it, and it will store it in our vector database. It is not expected. I'll try once more. Sometimes vector database connection can be lost. I'll try once more. Okay, it immediately done. Okay. Now everything is working. So this documentation is embedded. I'll go back to Playground and ask exact same question. I copy this one and create a new chat and ask this question. Since this is a new model and it is a big model, which is ChatGPT 5.4, it can find documentation and tell us you need 15% battery charge before firmware update. So this is correct. Now I achieved my goal. My goal was answer the correct information, which is 15% battery. So it checks the documentation and answer it properly. But for enhancement, you can improve your system prompt. I can say, like I did, you are, where was it? You are, yeah, this one. You can mention checking documentation when a question asked about the product. So this will help the LLM to check documentation. But since this is GPT's last model, it just checked the documentation and found it. But if you just use smaller models, this will help your model. So I updated my system prompt. So you can see this is working. And you can see for debugging purposes, it shows which chunk matched with our query. So you can see the similarities are really high. It is very confident and it answers us. But sometimes it can ask multiple queries. It can execute multiple queries if this confidence is very low, or your query doesn't include it in the documentation, so it will make different kind of queries, but only 5 result is enough for us. Now I will ask another question. Let's confirm it is working. So my second question is, my vacuum mop stops responding and cannot be turned off. What should I do? So there is an answer in our documentation here. If vacuum mop is not responding, so what should you do? So this is the answer. I expect it can find this answer and tell us very well. So it is correct. You need to press 6 seconds and to force shutdown. So it works pretty well and everything works. But what is the point? Yeah, I developed this one and I can use it only in ABP dashboard. So what is the point? Why I do that? So I will show you how you can build a support page in your application because we built our agent. Our agent is working very well. So I will build a support page in my home application. So
until now, Enis created this environment and he tested as a developer. This is not his final goal. He will show you now for customers what's need.
Now I will add exact same chat component in my homepage. Since this component is reusable, I can show in the documentation. Okay, sorry, my bad here. So we have a pre-built component in MVC and in other platforms, in Blazor and in Angular. Yes, we have this exact same component, but I will go with MVC. So this is pre-built component. If you write this code in your application, in your Razor page, so this component will be rendered exactly as it is. So your clients or your users can use this component, can chat with your workspace. You need to pass the workspace name only. So I will copy this one. And where is the ABP Studio? Okay, I will open my project with VS Code. Open with VS Code and see, yeah, this is our project. I will find my index page. What is it? Yeah, index page. Firstly, let's see how it works. So, of course, I need to add some using statements. Let's add this one. Yeah. So my workspace is not this one. Let's pass our exact same workspace name. So my workspace name in my application, let's find it. So I configured this OpenAI Assistant workspace. So this is my workspace name. If I pass it, the component will talk with this workspace.
This is the most critical part. You connect your workspace with your chat assistant only with this special text.
Yeah, that will work, but I will add some extra informations like where is it? I'll pass. Okay, let me pass all of them. Maybe I will show usage details for you. And I will pass a conversation. I will show what it does. Okay, maybe we can disable this one for now. I enabled show details because I need to check again, but you can disable it later. I will pass component ID. That component ID will allow me to use it JavaScript. Okay. I will explain all of them one by one, but I just built my component. You can see all the parameters in this view model. Let's run our application again. I think it is already running. It should affect.
Okay, now we are expecting to see a chat section here.
Let's ask again, what is the minimum charge requirement? Okay, it answers correctly, and my sources are listed like that. So there's a difference here. If you want to show the related documentation, you can show it like that. So you can see it is not detailed like the playground admin user sees. It shows only the file name and show how many hits in the file. So that's it. We cannot see all the details, etc. But even you can just disable it. Let's say show usage details false, and your users will not see anything like that, usage details or sources. They will see only the response. So you can customize this component like that. But it is not enough. It is not done yet. I will show a better UI for you. You can see there's no usage details. So this is good. You can put this component wherever you want, but I will make a better design.
Probably you will be, as I'm telling developers, probably you will use this in your front-facing applications, like public applications, not the admin side. You can also put admin side, but for chat feature, it's better to put in your customers' usage.
Now you can see I defined an off canvas here. So, and defined a button which opens it in here. If users logged in, if users authenticated, I will show a button that opens the our off canvas from the right side. Maybe I need to add a styling to make it fancier, but without the styling, it will work exactly. So I added this style to make it full height. I'll refresh the page. So you can see there is assistant button here. If I hit, so you can see this is assistant as coming from the right section. I can ask my similar questions here.
This is better usage for customers.
This is better usage case. But if you see, whenever I refresh this page, everything is gone. So we have extra parameters for it. So I'll go back to my component at the end. So you can pass conversation ID here. So if you pass conversation ID, so this conversation will be saved with this ID. So you can make this ID even generic. You can just use numbers, dynamic numbers, etc., or you can pass a GUID, or whatever you wish, or you can just use static if it is a singleton. Like singleton means once per user. This conversation is not hosted in the server side. It is hosted in the client side. We have server side conversations in our planning, in our plans, in our new milestones, but for now it is stored in the client side. So I will refresh my page. I expect the new component is rendered and ask question again. So where is my question here? So it is rendered here. The answer is correct. I just close it, refresh my page. Okay, the page is refreshed. If I open it, it stays here because I passed a conversation ID. So you can just manage your conversations dynamically if you wish, or you can just add a clear button that clears all the history. How you can do that, I will show it, because in the MVC, we have a JavaScript API for it. Where is it? Yeah, here. Here, all the methods of the chat component. So if you pass a component ID like I did, so you can get that component with ABP methods. So after getting that component, you can just switch into another conversation or clear conversation, etc. You can manage that component on your own according to your business logic. So this component is reusable and it fits your requirements. You can just easily plug that component in your own pages, in your own designs. So that's all on my side. This is how you can build an assistant for your own product. I hope it is helpful.
It's great. So, and can we send file attachments within this dialog? Screenshots or...
This component does not support file attachments right now because we have a generic implementation across OpenAI, Ollama, and whatever you use. But yeah, it's possible. But in this version, we don't have attachment support yet.
But maybe they can write their own implementation.
Yeah, here. You can extend it. So this is pretty extensible. Yeah.
Another one. Can we change workspaces?
It is possible, but I cannot understand the question. If you ask about runtime, if you ask about development time, you can just change the workspace name and this component will use other workspace. But if you ask about runtime, you can just pass a C# variable here, like model dot whatever you use. You can just use whatever you wish as a workspace name. You can dynamically bring workspace even from database here and pass it to a component. So it's possible. If you ask about runtime, it's possible like that. If you ask about development time, just changes hard-coded string. I think you asked this one. What?
How can we update the data store? You uploaded this PDF file, and how can we keep it updated?
Okay, that's nice question. You can re-upload it because we have a UI. Let me go back.
Or maybe if you have a everyday changing data, imagine you have a support platform. You want to create an agent based on your refreshed questions. You can create a background worker. And in this worker, you can seed your vector store.
Yeah, that will be better. Because when you upload a file here, it will separate into different chunks. I already explained all the pipeline. There are different kind of steps to embed it. So it's not easy way. It's not easy operation. Yeah, it happens really quick, but there can be a lot of different frictions. So it is good to upload your file here or use the existing methods. So you can just make it daily in a regular cron job. But built-in, we don't support adding sources from remote from a link maybe, but maybe in future we can support it. But right now you have to upload it manually or from code.